G'day, listeners. This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, supshq.com.au. Use BWB15 at checkout to receive 15% off and direct shipping.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Bros with Brains. I think we're close to episode 70. If not, this might be episode 70. I can't remember. Anyway,
I think I saw a number come up.
Yeah, I think it's 70. It could be 70. Actually, should have a look.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is 70. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, it's
it's like anyway. Anywho, moving along.
Ben's also here.
Ben's here. Ben as always, is here.
Yeah,
this would be 70. Anyway.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Big 70. It means last week was 69. That was a good episode.
Dinner for two. Wait, what? I wonder if anyone remembers that. You know, the old Chopper, the jokes, the stand-up comedy that was on, what show was it? And they had, what's his name? He actually did an impersonation of Chopper Read, and
wasn't it Rewind? No, it was Fast Forward.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, one of those shows.
Yeah,
and it was and he did the lotto, not the lotto numbers, the Ozball or whatever. And he's like, 69, dinner for two. Or like 66, you silly bitch, flip around. Looking at myself.
Was it Eric Banner?
He did, I know who you're talking about. He did a Chopper impersonation, but I don't think it was him that did this particular one. This is like an actual like comedian who does it, who dresses up as Chopper for a living. And the stand-up shows as Chopper, like like a genuine impersonator. And he had like, there was like 72, and the 2 was supposed to be a duck, like a duck with a boomerang or something like that. Like just stupid shit. It's like, it's like 62, and now there's a fucking duck in there. We got a mouthful of feathers and a beak full of cock, and I'm just fucking dying. Anyway, good times.
Yeah, I think we're showing our age here, making Chopper Read fucking.
Well, references. I wonder if anyone listening actually remembers what we're talking about.
Probably not.
Probably I'm
gonna have to I'd be surprised if people remember Fast Forward, to be honest. Like,
put that on
back in the old like paid free-to-air TV skid house shows. Fuck.
Yeah, 100%.
Look back now, they're so bad.
Nothing sus. That was the best sketch ever.
Fucking hell. Just old now. Just
100%.
30 going on, may as well be 45. Yeah, no, good. What are we now? We are officially 4 weeks post-comp. So
it is too. Shit.
Yeah, 4 weeks. It's funny. The 4 weeks leading up to the show go like fucking hell. They go so slow. 4 weeks post-comp, it feels like it's been fucking 6 months already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good. Business is fucking flogging this week. Getting new clients on board, get it in place, mapping out preps and stuff for next year. I think I'm pretty much just going to close the book for season B for who I've got now, because like everyone that gets on once they're on is kind of a long process.
Yeah, long-term client.
Yeah, it's a long-term client that obviously don't intend to lose or fuck up. So adding an extra season B clients is just gonna be too many for my second season coaching prep. So yeah, it's more than enough, I think. And then we've got obviously our general clients that are just killing it doing their shit. But yeah, I think the prep guys take a bit more focus, obviously. Mapping out the right timelines and mapping things out and sort of where I want to work with them and what they need to do. Yeah, it's good. It's all taken off post-comp. So we've just started doing actual marketing now, which is interesting. So we had a big blow up post-comp that had nothing to do with marketing.
Yep.
So that's good. But yeah, training's actually going good now. What have we got? We've got 4 days a week. Actually give me days to sleep in and rest and do my cardio and just chill out and get some steps in and get work done. So yeah, it's a good position to be in post-comp, I think. We're not, I keep seeing, I know I've harped on it before, but I keep seeing guys like, I am sorry, but
he's not sorry.
Hey?
You're not sorry.
I'm not. Young lads, like, you're looking great. That's cool. You're looking great post-comp. You're trying to hold that condition, solidify it. I get that. Cool. However, if you're titrating drugs at this point to come out of your prep and you think you're at the strongest phase you've ever been in, come off those drugs and tell me how you feel. I guarantee that you're not in the strongest position you've ever been in. And you should not be, because you've literally just dug yourself into the most atrophying, unrecoverable position we can get to from a physiology perspective. And you're like, you know what? Now I'm going to send it because I had 2 weeks of food. 24, if we take 24 weeks, and then we give ourselves 2 weeks after that, One of them is like an absolute deficit for fucking 6 months. You've got a surplus for 2 weeks. You think your body's recovered enough to handle a fucking growth block or a strength block here? No.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something you could prolong. You'll have a moment. You'll have a period or a patch of time where your strength will probably go through the roof because you've got more food in you, and in theory, you're at your peak drug load because we know the usual drug loads will be higher in comp prep versus the off season, purely because you're in such an energy deficit. So you need to offset the deficit with, I guess, more PED usage to keep or maintain muscle mass. But so you're going to have this lag period of time where and that's the whole supercompensation argument. But you're going to have this period of time where your strength will go through the roof because you've introduced food again.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to feel like you've recovered. And you have, I guess, to a standpoint, but you're not going to be able to maintain those gains all the way through because eventually those drugs need to come out so that you can actually recover from the drug stress.
You're essentially
you can't ride that out.
Exactly. You're essentially trying to repair the framework with a Band-Aid and being like, well, I've got this house and, we've been absolutely destroying it, but I'm going to fix this crack up with a Band-Aid and that should cover it. Might mask it up a bit, put some paint over it. Foundation should be fine. No, it's not. It's not. You're Band-Aiding or masking what's actually going on. And you're like, yeah, I feel really great. And I've got this compensation fact from the amount of drug load that I've got in me, the peak titration of load, and then I've put in food. But except that you're not going to keep shredded glutes and that you're probably not going to be 4 to 6 weeks post-comp at your strongest phase ever. That should probably not be where you phase and peak your strength.
Yeah. Anyway, should be interesting to watch.
Anyway, that's just me. But besides that, for me, myself, like that's not me rationalizing just getting fat. I'm not getting fat by any means. Like we just did check-ins. Holding fairly decent. I think this is probably the first time I'm going to get towards like 100 where I'm actually relatively conditioned. So, like as per usual, and as expected for me, it's my lower stomach every time. Like I could have 100% confidence, and then I just look at my gut, and I'm just like, I fucking hate you. But
no one cares about lower stomach distension in an off season, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the vacuum's still there. I can still pull a peak vacuum. I still have like leg veins coming out and do cardio. I still get like arm pumps and like striations in my arms, and I'm training, and then I'm just like, lower stomach. Again, that's my little crux.
No one cares, bro.
No
one cares.
Like, people barely care when I was on stage.
Exactly. No one cares. Who are you again? No.
Yeah. Classic forward.
yeah. No one cares. Season 8. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah. But besides that, like, train's going good, business going good, work's going good. Start back at uni, I think next year, early March. So I got about 4 months now to get all the business sort of in place, systemized, get the courses finished. I'm like finally on the back end of the fatigue now, where I'm like actually waking up feeling normal.
Yeah, feeling good.
Just not sleeping through my alarms 20 times. So like it was just getting to a point where like 9 hours sleep wasn't enough. And I'm like, fuck, I feel dead. And the amount of modafinil or like caffeine that you take to get past it's still not enough. So now just a bit of coffee and some pre-workout, I'm good. And it's kind of just up to the alarm. It's just like rejigging the sleep cycle. Like I said the other night, trying to get back to training in the morning because we spent 9 months adjusting to morning training. Then to be like, all right, see ya. And now I'm like, the day, like I'll get in the middle of early morning work done. And then I'm like, fuck, now I got to go train. And then I got to come back and do like client work. I'm like, I got to find an hour in here to make this work to get out at least the session done. And I'm like, fuck, it throws me off. So got to get back to morning training and get it finished there. So that's just, I don't know where it is. Post-comp, it's life 4 weeks out after post-comp. It's great.
That's it. Simples, easy, effective. So are you still having, is that still diet right? Or can you actually put real sugar in
I like diet right. I tell you, I'd rather eat my carbs. I'm not drinking carbs. Not yet.
Not yet.
When they get heavier, for sure, I'll drink my carbs.
That'll still be diet right, but
yeah.
Like a dumb fuck.
This will be diet right. Why are you so full, diet right?
Yeah, 100%. Why is your gut all feeling like shit? Diet right.
I love diet right. Fuck off. I'm never taking it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I can't get into it. If I'm just gonna have cordial, I'm just gonna have real cordial.
Yeah, you also didn't have to have 10 grams of carbs, so shut up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've done 0 carb.
Yeah,
I just don't do cordial. I just drink water. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but eventually at a certain point you want some sweetness.
Pepsi Max.
And my eyes aren't that sweet,
Yeah. Anyway, so today,
how are you though?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
The birthday boy who tried to keep it to himself.
Fuck, people don't need to know.
Here's me being like fucking, I'll pull a sneaky and fly down midweek. When's your birthday? Oh, it's this day. Oh, Okay.
Yeah, nah, bro.
Fuck you then, cunt.
Nah, bro. I'm working like every fucking day too. I'm working every day,
Please
fucking
don't come. Fuck off.
covering at the gym and shit, man. It's fucking been busy as fuck. But
Can you come in 6 months' time?
yeah, I'll come to you.
Actually, I'm getting away again.
Yeah. I'll come to you. It's easier. But yeah, yeah, just being fucking flat out, and then being sick could just fucking kill me. And was not that it killed me; it was just annoying.
Yeah.
It's being lethargic is just annoying. Like wanting to get up and do something, and then you start doing something. Morning is the most productive time, and then you get to like lunchtime, and it's like, okay, my day's done. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking cooked. I haven't even done anything. So, short of that, I mean, not too bad. He is what it is. But yeah, gym's fucking busy. Absolutely busy. So we got another coach starting in a couple of weeks. I'm just covering shifts.
I heard she's pretty shit.
Yeah, she's horrible. But and then we'll I'll cover the shifts until she starts, and then I'll go back to casual actually. So there'll be 1 or 2 shifts a week, if that, which would be nice. Back to like online and whatnot, but going to Dubai at the end of the year. So looking forward to that, getting a 3-week break, which would be nice.
Yeah. Those with the old Mia Khalifa tower in the background.
Mia Khalifa. That's her brother, Burj. Burj Khalifa, but close enough. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's where I'm staying. I still got to organize my accommodation, but stay there again for like 3 weeks and just actually have a fucking holiday would be nice. But it's funny because I feel almost bad like complaining that I need a holiday. Like I very rarely say that I need a break or a holiday. It's like I'll just work. Like
same.
just the type of person, you just do what you got to do. Like that's it. Like there's no ifs or buts. Just do what needs to be done. But I think with being moving like just the last sort of 6 weeks, like even 8 weeks, so coming back from Brisbane the first time, like from that Brisbane trip since. It's just been like one headache after another. It's just been like,
don't take prep plans. Don't take prep plans.
Bro, just not even that. It's just like getting sick. I think from that first trip was like that really set like pneumonia, like coming back, set me off, and then it's just been a cascade effect. And it's like I haven't been able to really train much and stuff. And obviously, I think most people forget like not training makes you even more unhealthy. Like your immune system and all that sort of stuff just ends up crashing more and doesn't actually like get stronger. Throw in like the stresses of moving and then work and online and just fuck. And then I got sick again, got COVID, and I thought I was getting sick again this week. And if I do, I will stab someone. Like people don't understand if I get sick. I think there's a couple of people in the gym have like some head colds, and there is some sort of chest. I think it's a chest infection maybe going around or something down here. I don't know. Something's going around, and if I get that, I'll kill everyone. So we'll find out. But anyway. Is what it is. But I did get my new golf clubs, so it's okay.
You got new golf? Yeah, okay.
I got them. I picked them up. I've hit with
them. Oh, they're there. I thought it went into like the fucking 8-week waiting time.
Nah, so it was actually it was funny. So I ordered them literally 2 Sundays ago or whatever. I went in, got fit up. I did the fitting when I was in Brisbane that second time when I was up there. When then I just came down here to Melbourne, came to the shop that I usually go to, told them what I got fitted for. So we redid the fitting, made sure there was nothing else that would better suit, and then put the order in like 2 Sundays ago. And like 8 days later, I got a text message from the company saying, or from Drummond Golf saying, oh, no, look, your clubs are in. And I called, I'm like, 8 days? I'm like, come on, someone's pulling my leg here. And he's like, no, he goes,
what is magic?
Yeah, he goes, no, they're definitely here. And then I called back. I was driving on the way there because I got so excited. I was getting vouchers for my birthday.
Yeah.
Totally forgot that I had to pay for them. Like I just got so excited. I got in the car and drove. Halfway there, I'm like, I called back and I was like, hey, I actually spoke to the guy that did the fitting. And I'm like, hey, dude, just confirming my clubs are actually there. And he goes, yeah. He goes, your name's on them. He goes, left hand. I'm like, nope, I'm a right-handed player, mate. He goes, I'm going to call you back. Give me like 3 minutes. So he's opened the box. Someone else has ordered the exact same clubs and specs, but left-handed, and they've just got the name tags wrong. I was sitting there like, all right, look, that's fine. I'll allow that. That's fine. And then Friday, I got a text message saying that they've come in. So I've actually called again, and the guy actually answered the phone. And I'm like, now tell me, you talking shit, or are they here? Like, I can't deal with the anxiety right now. All right,
don't play with my emotions.
Yeah, don't fuck with me. He's like, no. He goes, they're here. I'm like, sweet. So I went and picked them up.
You don't cock tease twice.
Yeah, I went and picked them up on Monday actually. So on my birthday, I went and picked them up, and went into the nets yesterday and hit. Well, not the nets. I went to the driving range and hit yesterday. Driving range this morning. Give him a bit of a whack. We'll see how we go.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Very nice indeed. But
yeah.
to continue on from our story, the big man has another rant point.
No, it's not so much a rant point. I think it's just it's a revisit of a topic. Really, like coaches staying in your lanes, I guess, more than anything. It's funny. I'll premise this with all coaches, I think, have the same intent in mind in wanting to help everyone. I think the hardest part for a lot of coaches is realizing they can't help everyone.
Yeah.
And it's really prevalent, I think, not so much in the specialized field for coaches, like coaches that specialize in like enhancement practices, coaches that specialize in hypertrophy training, coaches that specialize in whatever it is, powerlifting, like whatever. If that's their niche, they tend to be almost like what you define almost as an expert in that field, or they get as close to as possible. Then you have like PTs. And I guess general coaches will call them. Like, I don't know a good term for it. Not even a holistic coach, more like, well, maybe a holistic coach will call them. They try to look after sort of every facet. They know a little bit about a lot of things, but they don't really like hone their skills in. And you see it all the time when they do Q&As and stuff like that. And that's where I sort of come across this, like a lot of these coaches where they're getting asked all these questions about a whole range of topics, and they're such opposite ends of the spectrum in topics. Like some are like nutrition based, and some are like and it could be like an in-depth nutrition question, could be something to do with like an insulin response to food, for example. And then having also a question about training and potentially like ATP responses to fucking anaerobic training or something, like very opposite ends of the spectrum. And they're trying to give detailed answers on both, and then like recommendations for both. And it's kind of like, these aren't your fields. Like like you might know something about them, but it's like giving recommendations, I think, is where a lot of coaches seem to fall down. It's like if you're not premising it with like, this could be your opinion, or this is potentially what the literature says, or this is what I've seen, and giving almost blanket statements is obviously where I think it gets a little bit gray area. Like, it's just like, and again, I do say I think that people have the best interests of the person asking the question, or if it's a client asking a question, like always have their best interest. But it's just, dude, like that's not your field. Your field is to potentially, affect some form of body recomposition in a client. So just do that and do that well. Don't worry about like insulin, the carb insulin model, and worry about ATP and Krebs cycle, like all these things that you don't need to worry about. Like if you want to go learn it, by all means, but it's like getting asked that in like a Q&A and then trying to explain it, and especially trying to explain it in a worded format, it's really tricky. Like if you know it well enough and you can explain it pretty simple, but it's like sometimes too simple is wrong. It's like sometimes just going too basic. Like just
Ruby.
And again, it's like trying to obviously show that you're some form of authority, because that's what you're supposed to do on social media when it comes to online coaching and blah 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 blah. Sometimes just simply not answering the question is probably the better way to go, because then you got people.
What I reckon shows a more level of authority and respect is being able to say, I don't know.
It's just like, hey, like this is what I hypothesize. This is what I think it could be, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just find it's still apparently still a thing. Like, how many years we've been doing this, and it's just like, well, how is pretending, or not pretending, because I don't think the people pretend. They truly believe that they know the answers and they're able to help, I guess. It's like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird position.
Is the presence of ignorance good enough excuse for the absence of knowledge, though?
Well, is it ignorance, though?
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? Because if
you're assuming knowledge and understanding by then talking authority on it, but you're not going out to either confirm what you know or simply even study further to know what you know.
We don't know that that's not occurring, though.
That's true.
Like, and that's why, like, as much as I sort of agree with it, it's kind of like, And I'm trying to think of like if I was to do it in a field that I don't understand that well, and it's kind of like, well, like would it be ignorant on my part to say that? But if I truly believe I know the answer, like if I genuinely believe I know the answer, how can it be ignorant?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like,
you know what I mean? If in my head, my belief, my
like that's starting
research,
towards the
yeah,
premise of all cults or
yeah,
like
well, yeah, you know what I
bad
mean? Like,
food diets.
yeah, and that's why it's kind of like fuck. And again, I always say that I do genuinely believe that everyone's trying to like help.
Yeah,
It's
for
just how
sure.
they're going about it. It's like, well, I don't
Like
know if that's the
that is
correct way to
also
do it.
like I think where a professional is like a I've been watching Suits, so I'm really easy comparison is like the guys who do like the like business closing legalities versus someone who does like the financial legalities. Like you can be inside like the hard part is fitness is an umbrella term, right? Like it's a field. It's almost like a health coaching or fitness is
It's
a
a
field.
tree.
Yeah, it's a tree. It's a spectrum. And on that are many different realms of coaching that you can engage in, whether you want to be mostly about nutrition or behavior change or powerlifting, strongman, fucking endurance events, marathon running, whether you're coaching specifically to Gen Pop or older ladies, whatever. A million different ways, doing a million different things. Now, you should be able to say, I don't specialize in these fields. That should be a thing you should be able to say. Whether you assume knowledge there or not, or whether you assume like, I've got some idea, you should be able to say or preface with, look, I'm not certain, but, or I don't know, but this is what I think, or I could be wrong. So, maybe reach out to some of these accounts. I'm more than happy. Like I've had several clients or several consults where I was like, look, I know how to get people strong, but I'm not a strong man or a powerlifting coach. I know how to increase strength in certain rep ranges and make sure you work at the full range of the movement, make sure that we're progressing over time to get certain reps, and then obviously back off with deloads. I can do that. However, I don't know enough about peak loading and timing to do a powerlifting prep. So here are the people that I would recommend you see.
Yeah.
You, I will send them to you. That makes more sense to me, but I'm also recognizing I can give you the basics of like, let's just get fucking strong in most of our prime lifts, and then we'll look at the rest of it and we'll assess that accessory program. But if you're starting to get towards like, hey, let's do a powerlifting meet, I'll be like, you know what? Not really my thing.
Yeah.
Here's how I pass that on. That to me, I have some knowledge in the field because Henman's size principle applies to most strength training points. That's about where my cap goes. And I'm like, you know what? I could be a dick and say, no, I'll take you for a fucking powerlifting prep. I've never done one, but I can take you for it. I have no other outside knowledge as to how a prep day is run or how a meet is run, how to load properly for it, what your peak numbers should be, percentages to use. Like I'm not really versed on it. Here are people that I know that are. I'm still acknowledging that I have some knowledge, but I'm not being a dick and pretending that I can take your money and give you that exact outcome because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can tell you though, how the fuck do I change my behaviors and how do I work on my head and start talking about these problems? How do I build muscle tissue over a period of time? Like how do I titrate calories? Here we go. Let's do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
In that realm, I'm more than confident. Cool. Let's stop there. That's the bracket I will stay in. That's of this much, I'll stay here. That's my thing.
Well, yeah, like you said, you're able to give off a little bit of knowledge and show that you know the basics, right? Which is never a bad thing. It's like, yeah, I can understand and express base level knowledge on the topic that you've asked about, but to go in depth or to talk definitively on it, it's like, well, not sure if that's the way to go about it.
And I think it shows a greater level of knowledge then and authority in your field if you're willing to acknowledge you don't know others, but you have connections to people who do.
Well,
yeah, it creates a greater level of like not authority, almost authority, but like network authority. Like when I'm able to tell clients the names of people they join and amongst like who I converse with and stuff, like if I don't know, these are the people I can contact to find out or put you in the direction of like, you're not just buying me, you're buying access to a network and system. And like,
well, that's just it.
A strategy. So do I not know? Okay, I'm more than happy to say I don't know. Give me 48 hours, I might fucking find out.
Yeah.
And I'll find the best people I know that are in my network to get there.
Yeah.
But that's me admitting I don't know, and I'm going to outsource to find someone else.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Should probably give you a bit more of a sense. I don't know, not so much a sense of authority, but it gives you a lot more of a professional standing, I believe, that you can say that.
It's funny because I look at it the other way and think, well, it's just one less headache to worry about. Like if I can refer out, I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it's less stress.
I can focus on the things I'm actually good at, and I can
like this isn't my field, so I'm just gonna handball you out. Goodbye.
It sounds like more of a problem for me to deal with if I were to try to do this because I don't know.
Yeah, if it's something that I guess is close to the realm, maybe I might be able to be like, oh, look, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I can find out pretty quick and understand it.
Yeah.
But it's very rare that I think that would happen.
Yeah.
It'd be more like, it's not my field. Here you go. And then message the person and be like, good luck.
And that shows even further that you have the specific fields that you work in, right? Like you have those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're drawing the clients that want to work with you. You don't have to take everyone because you're taking the ones who want to come to you.
That's the whole premise of niching.
Yeah.
Like
specialize. You'll narrow yourself here into a funnel, but you get more of that funnel here because you have a ability.
Yeah, exactly right. Then you become the leader or the authority in said field, and they come to you for said shit.
Everyone. If you think about everyone wants to work with the best person to get the best result, if you can work with everyone, no one wants to work with you because you work with everyone and you don't have anything special to offer.
Yeah, exactly right.
Narrow yourself into that one little funnel and you put yourself into that fucking hourglass and you go, okay, this is where I'm going to work. Everyone that needs that specific thing is now going to funnel to you.
Yeah, and you might have less of a field, but you're going to have a longer term client list, which is always nice.
Yeah, exactly right. Like I think my average at the moment is like 27 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, phenomenal. Yeah. I know my average and it's stupidly long. It's like 18 months. It's just because I've been doing this for such a long time. Like,
yeah. You get to a certain point where everyone just wants to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when you would usually hope that the reason they leave because they've either achieved their goal, they're done, or there's nothing else they need from you.
Yeah. The beauty of, I think, something that I like, my niche is like powerlifting. So it's like there's always another meet. So the goal's like never over, I guess, until you decide to say, well, I'm not going to compete anymore.
Yep.
Most people are going to compete for, a decent block of time. And when we say block of time, we mean years of time.
Yeah.
So that's potentially why I think my retention rate is what it is, purely because people get results comp to comp and progress.
Yeah.
It just makes them want to go to more comps. That makes them want to compete more.
I don't like the idea of just taking a prep client season. I would rather have a full time with a client. I see coaches that are like, I just do their preps. And I'm like, yeah, but that firstly doesn't give you any fuck all near enough information on a client unless they're like an elite that's got all the data on themselves already that knows, and you can just sort of tweak it. But generally, the person you're trying to get to the stage, you want to know how they respond with food, without food, like fat mass to no fat mass, how fast they build muscle, areas that need most attention. Like that to me, like you want to niche in and find that time. So when I start looking at people I'm working with, all right, is this at least a 12-month plan for you? Is this at least 18 months, 2 years? Like, what's the minimum here? Because I don't want to do we're in November. Let's just go straight to season A. Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just like things take time.
Yeah.
Training, building muscle, getting lean, anything to do with body composition change takes time. And it's like, why not invest the time into a coach and give them, what's needed or what they've asked for, or somewhere in the middle, I guess, to help achieve this result. And it's funny because it's like one of my online clients, he actually listens to this podcast, so he knows exactly that I'm going to be talking about him, which is fine because he's a good bloke. But he knows that it's funny. He felt that he had stalled in his progress, and because we're going through a cut. He's lost like what's he lost? Nearly 20 kilos, I think.
Oh, that's stalled.
Yeah, 20 kilos in he's lost. I can't remember. It's like I think it's about 15 to 20 kg in like 16 to 18 weeks or something. Yeah. We're running at about 700 grams a week on average body weight. As I sort of said to him from day one, I'm like, look, we're probably going to kick off at about 1 kilo a week on the way down, and then as we start to slow down, we're probably going to go about 0.5 kilo to 700 grams. Well, literally on time. That's exactly what it is, to like the decimal point. And he's like, oh, I just felt like I'd stalled the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, well, hold on. 4 weeks ago, you were this weight. 4 weeks later, you're 2.5 kilos lighter. You're literally losing still 0.5 kilo a week.
Yeah.
We said that you'd lose about 0.5 kilo to 700 grams a week. I don't know what more I can do. I've given you the numbers. I've listed it out. He's like, oh, because I didn't even realize that was the case. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, look,
this is why we track things.
Yeah, like look, like you have steadily come down week to week to week to week all the way through, and it's like, dude, like, what more can we do? And it's like, I had this conversation years ago with a client, and it's just like, well, she's like, I think she lost 8 kilos in 4 weeks. She was big, don't get me wrong. She had kilos to lose. And she turns around, she goes, "Oh, I thought I would have lost more by now," because she sees, all these challenges, these TV shows where they lose a ton of weight and all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to ask you a question and don't get offended, but how long did it take you to get to where you are?
Yes. Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, how many years has it taken you to get to where you are?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I'm 30 or whatever." I'm like, "Cool. So what, 10 years, 15 years to get to where you are?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What did you expect in 4 weeks?" I'm like, "Hold on."
Yeah.
Be reasonable here. Like,
isn't that interesting how, like, and this again, it probably come down to the fact that coaches don't want to niche or understand enough about their field. Even if you want to do lifestyle modification or changes, you're not learning enough about motivation, conversation, or like behavior change stuff, where the general person is still expecting such a rapid progression, almost an extreme level result in a short period of time, when we've got extreme people who expect results in years over time. But you get the, like, sort of, I guess, the general coach who doesn't want to specify more in that field. They just want the clients.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's great to work with 100 people, but what if you can't service them properly and you've got 100 people, but none of them get results, or like they're not getting it properly. Like, we can make someone suffer and lose 20 kilos in the space of 3 weeks or 4 weeks if they're that big. Like, the rate of loss is super easy. Is that going to be detrimental? Is it losing muscle tissue? Is it just water and carbohydrates, not actually fat? Yeah, all that stuff. But like, being able to articulate that, like you've just done, and map it out so that you can actually, like, see, you've spent how long gaining this. I've got bodybuilders and powerlifters or whatever that, they're willing to wait 2 to 4 years for a goal to be achieved. You've come with an extreme level goal and then been like, well, I thought I'd get there sooner.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't match.
Yeah,
there's no balance, and I think that's the biggest thing I try to sort of put across to more Gen Pop clients. It's like it is about balance. Like, as much as we know in an elite athlete, balance probably isn't there as such. It's probably over time. I think over a long enough period of time, I think you'll see balance.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's just, obviously, we're going to have acute bouts of, ebbs and flows, right? We're going to have these acute times where nothing is balanced. Yeah. Like, we're going to have, highs and lows. But again, over
balance is arbitrary when you use that.
Just over that patch of time, like, you're going to be like, okay, well, everything balanced out effectively. It's like when people say, well, weight loss is never linear, and it's like, well, it fucking is. It's just over it's just over what period of time. It may not be it may not be linear in a week, but over the month it should probably be linear. You should have started at one weight. If you're going through a diet phase, it should be a little bit less at the bottom. That's linear. Top, bottom.
And if you're modifying properly and actually learning how to and this is the other thing why I push when clients come to me for more of the behavior change or modification style, and less about, say, the intense fucking abrupt levels of, like, obsession and bodybuilding and things like that, is where you spent 20, 30 years learning habits and routines and systems that got you to that. It's like, let's be very, very clear, very honest. It's not to insult people, but to get to the degree of, like, obesity where it's like genuinely almost a kill you concern, that's a systemized approach. It takes effort and systems to get there. You're eating beyond the point of satiety and satisfaction and compliance. Like, you're just simply eating at that point based on systems, habits, routines. It's just happening. So that's a lot of learnt behavior. Even up to that degree, you're still like, even if you're not, say, fucking, stage 10 obese, if you're just simply, like, getting to overweight, beyond the point of, like, you're not eating to comfort, you're not eating to hunger cues, you're not satisfying that, you're just simply eating. So that happening is learned behavior and routines. It's not obsession, it's not addiction, it's just routines, it's systems. We have to also learn to undo that in the future. Like, if we're going to start working together, it's like, okay, I want to lose all this weight. That's cool, and we can get that. But also, we've got to learn to modify these behaviors so that you can keep it off, because otherwise you're going to go right back to those habits, which is why your F45s and your fucking biggest losers and all that sort of shit don't work. They work for the acute response, and then you can see straight away slingshots right back, and you got to spend money to come back again. It's a fucking catch-22. It always is. That's great. If you can actually keep it off, fantastic, but 99.9% of them don't, because I've worked with them and seen it. It doesn't happen. The behaviors take time. So, like, you've taken, like you said, 10, 15, 20 years to learn these behaviors. If you're older, you've taken even longer. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's literally an expression for a reason. It takes a lot of time to modify those behaviors and work with that person individually and be like, all right, let's just start with more protein. Here's your meal plan or whatever, and that's great, but I want you to also focus on just the protein of it. Let's just see why you got vegetables in there. Let's learn about why there's, like, certain carbohydrates. Now, I want you to take the meal plan away and have a day where you just eat what you've learned. Okay, let's fucking do that. Those things take time. There's going to be ebbs and flows where it's like, oh, I stuffed up and I got KFC. Okay, you've had some KFC. Not a big deal. Did you enjoy it? Yes. Did you fucking fall off the wagon? Not really. Okay, get back on plan. Let's go again. Like, that level of coaching takes time that you can't be like, well, I didn't lose 100 kilos in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we can get 10 kilos off you, we can get 15, even be aggressive about it. But I also want to make sure that you're fucking learning how to not put it back on.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, it's like from a results point of view, you lose a kilo over that period of time, it's still a positive result. It's a net positive result. It's just like, it still fits the criteria. If you wanted to come in and lose weight, you did. It's just you didn't lose as much as you'd like. Well, that's an expectation thing or a goal thing. That's probably something that needs to be readjusted or looked at or whatever. But
I had a client, and this is where, again, specializing, it makes me sound more authoritarian than I am, but having an ability to work with people on specific things, right? I had a client that came to me and she wanted to lose weight. And that's fantastic. We worked together. I've been together like 3 or 4 months. The first 6 weeks, there was literally like no weight loss, because when I was looking at the behaviors, like the first week was obviously getting started, getting data and seeing what she liked and what was working, what her averages were, if she'd even tracked food before. No idea. I was like, okay, so going straight with like, here's your macro, see you later, isn't going to work. When we started chatting, she had anxieties about social events, eating out, eating chocolate, eating food, drinking alcohol, like all these anxieties and food hangups. I was like, I can't leave you to your own ebbs and flows and fucking your own like devices, because you're just going to fucking, it's not going to work. The next 6 weeks, we're basically learning behaviors to offset or like get around. Just because you're around friends drinking doesn't mean you have to get written off. Just because friends are having, fucking every fried food under the sun doesn't mean you can't just have 1 or 2. Just because you had a piece of, there's a block of chocolate in the fridge doesn't mean you have to have the whole thing. Like all these exposure methods and these like gradual over time, mindful experiences and being able to enjoy the food and then also work with it in the future to include it and be able to track it. And also, here's your meal plan, you're bored of it, cool, tell me what you want to do differently. How are you going to track it? Show me how you track it. Show me how you'd include it. What would you cut out here to add that in? Oh, I can do this. Okay, cool. We haven't exactly lost 20 kilos, but you now don't have social anxieties, food hangups, food obsessions. You don't have restrictive needs. You don't have this fear about going to the gym and eating food. You're just doing these things. Eventually, you get the ducks in a row and they'll just knock over.
Yeah, well, we also know, and like a tactic that I like to, not a tactic, a fact that I like to reiterate with a lot of clients, especially in dieting phases, when they do tend to have a little bit more than what they would usually do on a particular day or a particular meal or whatever it is, just because, humans. It's like, we know, according to the research as well, that having a bolus of calories is not going to do anything in such a diet. No, and if you're in an energy restricted setting, and you've been doing it and you're adhering to it, let's say 80 to 90% of the time, that one-off bolus of calories usually doesn't really matter how much the calories is, from what I've seen. It doesn't actually take away from your overall goal at all. Yeah. We know that at the end of the period of time, you still reach your target. And that's why, and that's the whole refeed research that's been happening for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years now, that it may not, what they were looking for in terms of the research, they were trying to, assess whether it had any sort of effect on metabolic capacity and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, but we know that obviously from a psychological standpoint, it seems to help quite a bit, which is always nice. And it's like, well, if you have a one-off, calorie dense meal or something like that, it's not going to affect your goals. It doesn't affect the weight loss overall. And it's really funny to see that. And some people actually, because they stress less from a physiological standpoint, they end up losing more weight. And you're like, well, look at that.
I can time this to a T. This is what you did.
Yeah, and it's funny. And it's like, this is where my premise of, like, when we talk about training deloads and all that sort of stuff, like why we don't have nutritional deloads is beyond me, because I have used them for years, and genuine deload of dieting, whether it be up or down. So whether we're trying to put on weight or lose weight, I will always have a week off dieting every now and then when the client's feedback would suggest that there needs to be a break.
We just had this conversation when you were up here, I believe, but running into that, I had a client who we hit that plateau point, and it was kind of like every off season, every bulk's going to get to one where it's like, this is your cap. And I was like, all right, your numbers are good, your training's growing, your conditioning's fine. So it's not leptin and ghrelin. It's not that your body's producing, like, your body fat's so high that you're being satisfied. You're actually pretty conditioned. You're pretty strong. Lifts are going up. Muscle mass is increasing. The only thing is that, like, your stress is high and your satiety is high. So I was like, are you really actually full, or are you stressing? Took food away for about 2 weeks, put in some mindful tactics and I practiced a few things, explored some problems, and like, right, let's figure this out. Got that stuff in check, made sure sleep was right. Increased calories this week, 4,800. kid's going up to, 102, 103. When I first took him over, he was 101. We recomped for 6 weeks to get him down. Now he's back up to 101 and in the best shape of his life. And now we're going to push to say like 105, probably before that next cap kicks in. Like, I kind of can predict it based on where he's been doing it recently. Looking at about the 104, 105 mark, we'll probably hit another plateau. But that very tool was like recognizing, okay, he's not actually, we haven't capped your off season. We haven't capped this growth phase. It's just that mentally you had some stuff going on, and his natural stress response is to shut down appetite. Yeah. So it's like, cool, let's figure that out. Let's take a fucking week off food because you're starting to feel nauseous and just eating was just feeling sick. Okay, let's fucking back that off.
Yeah, exactly right.
And let's actually see if that's a problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Your appetite came back. We just got the stress under control. Okay, so there's a relationship now between your stress and your appetite. Let's figure those two things out. So in future, that doesn't happen. Now we grow for longer.
Yeah. And it's like, we continually say, it's like, especially in a growth phase, that actually eating copious amounts of food is stressful on your digestive system. It's like, like, who would have thought, like, training, yes, is stressful. So is actually eating more food than you're supposed to be eating.
Honestly, so
taking a break, taking a break to re-regulate just digestion in itself.
Oh yeah.
Plays such a big part. And then, 9 times out of 10 come back onto like the calories that you previously had before you decided to take the break, and weight always creeps up and appetite is still through the roof, and you're like, yeah, beautiful, it's what we want. We want you hungry, you're on more food, let's go.
This is why, like, again, as we come back to, specializing is so important. Like if I were just to be like a general person, guys, numbers are saying this, blah blah blah, all right, let's just start cutting now, or let's hold here and that's it, we're done. Like, every indicator outside of that suggested we should have kept growing. The 2 indicators that said he can't have more food were basically like, okay, we should stop here. If we just looked at those 2 numbers, I'm like, oh, this is all we're doing is weight and food, appetite, I'd be like, well, fuck it, we start cutting. Actually, like, throw in that diet break, that surplus break, and be like, all right, let's take a week off, figure it out, get your fucking hunger back. Good to go now. Now let's hit 105.
Simples, effective, and it works.
Why waste time? Why waste time? Like, this weird idea, I don't like it, is like the 1-to-1 ratio of cut to grow. Why the fuck would you want to spend more time cutting than growing?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Like, you don't want to. Like, in theory, over a 12-month period, take prepping out. Like, why would you be wanting to cut longer than you grow? Makes no sense. If your goal is to be bigger, then it defeats the purpose. Yeah, unless your goal is to be shredded all the time and you don't care about the size.
You just got Instagram look.
Oh yeah, if you want to be Menno, go for it. Like, I don't care.
Don't talk about research.
Yeah, and wants to claim that it's like he's shredded year round. Yeah, because you're fucking tiny. Like, it makes sense. Like, cool. Anyway,
that's like, skinny cut.
Yeah, like, we won't get into that conversation. But anyway, should we do questions?
Anyway, can you pause for a second? I'm gonna piss real bad.
Nah, we'll just keep going.
All of the clan and drug. I mean, what? Sorry, we paused there, guys.
So we were breaking into questions. Now, obviously, the controversy of, well, I don't know how it's controversial, but Liver King, like, whoop-de fucking do. Like, really? Come on, people. Liver King's
sky, water goes in the ocean.
Liver King's stack that is, and also his blood. I haven't seen anything to do with his shit. Like, I know something's come out, and I know more plates, more dates, whatever his fucking name is, put something out, and I think I saw
12 grand of growth a month.
12 grams?
12 grand.
Oh, 12 grand.
I worked it out, going by Australian prices, that's 4,000 units a month.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, but yeah, I mean, is it really a shock to anyone? No. Like, really? Like, come on. But yeah, I don't know anything about his blood work or his actual stack. I did see something that he had some Winstrol in there, some Deca, some Test.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a standard fuckboy stack. So like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I've got no opinions on it, like, at all.
Yeah, there's no opinion because it's not a surprise.
No, I don't like. Can anyone that actually listens to you, like, if you actually genuinely believed he was natural, can you let me know? Like, I'm very curious as to what made you think that after all the shit that we've been saying. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Natty low estradiol causes in men. He's asked this twice.
Okay.
It's like, it could be so many things, like fat, stressed, poor nutrition,
depressed.
Like, like any, like, it could be a ton of
activity
things.
levels.
Yeah, like, yeah, like fucking That's low estradiol causes in men. Like, so it could be a number of things. It could be just the genetics. It could be you're genetically, I guess, lucky, unlucky, depending on how you look at it, depending on how low it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that can cause different levels of estrogen in the body.
Mhm.
When it comes to estrogen, look, usually we want to see the rate or the ratio of testosterone or androgens to estrogen and what that level does. There is like a relationship between the two, again, when it comes to hormonal balance. That's what we're looking at. So usually when we introduce PEDs or testosterone, like exogenous testosterone, what happens is the estrogen has to climb up because the testosterone is now climbed up. It needs to keep things balanced and protected. That's what estrogen does. So if your estrogen or estradiol, estrogen is low, we would think in a natural person that testosterone is also probably low.
Yeah.
If testosterone is high and estrogen is low, well, then it'd be very interesting to see what some of your other markers are doing. Easiest way, do a consult with one of us, and I'm sure we can break into that a little bit more. What else have we got? How does the body use different macros? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, depending on if you're male. I mean, it works the same in both, in principle. But carbohydrates, usually your fastest energy source. Body will always, well, okay, I shouldn't say will always, should always preference carbohydrates as its energy source to do pretty much anything. Fats, hormonal responses, body fat regulation, like more body fat you have on during winter, less body fat hopefully in summer, all that sort of shit. It does also regulate some other hormones to do with like satiety and all that sort of stuff. Also can help or not help estrogen, like we just mentioned before, hence being fat. You can have a higher rate of aromatization of androgens into estrogen. Protein, I mean, I think everyone knows what protein does, like builds muscles. Basically just builds.
I think people actually get very confused about what other roles a protein plays. I think that's a very missed area. Obviously, there's a lot of depth to it, but transport proteins, you've got blood transport proteins, you've got electron proteins, you've got like a whole list of protein chains that do more than just build muscle.
Yeah, they do. But the premise of protein is to build tissue. Basically.
Fun fact for everyone that thinks they're in ketosis, the likelihood is if you aren't taking supplementation and you're not training properly, you're not in ketosis. The body is actually probably most likely through a process of gluconeogenesis, converting the amino acids you have in your protein, your muscle cells, to glucose to provide more fuel because the body wants glucose first.
That's what it does, and that's why keto dieting is higher in protein for the exact reason. But yes, so that's pretty much how the body utilizes all three macros. GH and insulin synergy, how to maximize the timing of GH and insulin. I feel like we had this question last week as well.
I think we did all of it.
Yeah. Insulin synergy, we spoke about this. We know that IGF-1 increases, like we spoke about this, how to maximize it. Get on a consult. I'm not going to talk about it on a podcast, and definitely not talking about timing of GH and insulin. Just take it all day, every day. And that's it for questions on my end, because then same person asked questions on both pages about natty low estradiol causes in men. It's very, very eager.
Let's learn. All right, what do we got? Oh, okay. Just a couple foods with thermic effects. Is this something that's important to consider when dieting? Yes, it is. Thermic effect of food does make up the total equation of your TDE, or your total daily energy expenditure. I believe it's about 5 to 10% of your total TDE is thermic effect. So you got eat, neat, thermic effect of food, or EEFF, and then you've got your resting metabolic rate. So yes, it is a contributing factor and part of why we use protein again in a dieting phase, because it is the most thermic responsive food that you can consume. It takes the most amount of energy to break up and burn out, or convert and go through the whole process of digestion. So it's why it's most satiating, because it takes the longest to go through, which requires the most amount of effort. So yes, paying attention to your thermic effect of food is important. It's not the be all end all by any means. It's not where you base your primary fucking consideration, but
so I can't eat this. Why? Because it's not thermic enough.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, I've got to put in my thermo to make sure that it's thermic enough.
No. my thermogenesis is horrible.
I've got to take my Capsi Max and my fucking my fat burner to help with my thermogenics.
Yeah,
no,
fuck it.
It does.
If you're gonna do it properly, just take DMP. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go thermogenic as fuck, DMP. Like, there's no questions.
That's fair.
Case closed.
That's
moving on. Next question.
Game plan and choice of weapon in a zombie apocalypse.
I feel like we had that last week, didn't we?
I don't think we did.
What was the week before? I feel like we've had this question.
Yeah, you're gonna go.
Because we were talking about, remember, we had this on with Chris, because we were talking about, like, if you have a gun, you run out of bullets, but if you have something,
exactly right.
if you had something handheld, it's like, it means they have to get close. It's like, what do we do? So I said lightsaber.
That's fair. That's very fair. I mean, the technology's available. Yeah, like, I'm just using the force.
I'm sure the technology exists.
Yeah.
I am convinced it exists. We just don't know about it. Like, it's just, the
government's keeping it a secret.
100%. It fucking exists. Some nerd has created a real fucking lightsaber.
Considering Coruscant is based on Earth, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like 100% that lightsaber exists. I will find it and I will use it.
Shit breaks on company time or before you clock in?
100% on company time.
On company time.
You're like, what?
On company time without question.
110%. If you're not doing that, you have failed at life.
Yeah, you're missing out. You're not playing the game properly.
No, 100%.
Liver King, what other fake natties are about to come out?
About to come out?
Yeah. I guess like which one's about to get caught?
I don't even know who claims natty anymore.
Yeah.
Mike O'Hearn still?
Yeah, probably.
That's another obvious one.
If Liver King is being called out and Mike O'Hearn doesn't in the next few years, I'll be surprised.
I feel like he's been called out for years. He just doesn't. He's never going to show his blood work. Yeah, I don't know.
You got most of Musclemania. That's for sure going to be fucking.
Yeah,
they're just raging with gear and they just get caught out. Literally, one of the guys that was a major Instagrammer, Ulysses Grant, or his name is.
Oh yeah, we knew that.
Gano on stage. Everyone's like, "Hey, bro, like you can't claim that anymore." And Musclemania's like, "We had no idea." Like,
what's the shark brand that does Gymshark?
Gymshark, yeah.
Aren't they all on gear and they claim that they're natural?
Well, I mean, Bumstead was a Gymshark athlete, so
yeah, I feel like they all. Oh well, I thought they were all claiming natty. Was it Gymshark, or am I thinking of another brand? Maybe it's another brand.
I mean, if it's Zach Perner's a part of them, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, he claims natural, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, they're all fucking. Come on.
Or I got another one more. Single arm lat row. Why would a trainer suggest you at 2 movements and a tilt to the opposite on the contraction of the movement? Starts above head and is a standing movement on cables. Single arm. I don't know, James. You fucked this one up. Sorry, buddy.
Start again. What was the question?
I'm guessing it's a movement question. A single arm lat row. I guess a single arm
lat row or pull down.
A
lat row is this way.
Yeah, lat row is this, right? Lat pull down.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing single lat row, would you add a tilt to the opposite contraction?
Yeah. So if you're to the opposite side, no, most people tilt to the same side.
Yeah,
because they think that they by crunching the oblique you get more lat. You don't, but that's fine.
Science. Why would a trainer prescribe this? Starts above head and is a standing movement on cables. Okay, so it's up here.
So I think he's got lat row, like he's got the wording wrong. He may mean a lat. If you mean a lat row,
sorry, I prefaced that poorly.
A lat row starting above the head. So if you're starting up here and coming down,
it's just a high row.
Yeah, like it's still technically, I guess, like a lat based row in a sense, but yeah, it depends on if he's meaning a lat, like a genuine row for the lat, or a pull down for the lat.
Yeah.
So confirm that with us, people.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Can't answer the question.
I'm not going to name and shame you this week, James, because that was a shit question.
Yeah, I can't.
Usually,
I can't
be better than that. Be better.
Yeah, can't answer that one. Got no idea.
That's all I got. That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything we need to know coming out?
What have we got coming out? Client spots still open, but filling very quickly, and that's not even a fucking marketing ploy. Like, you're not going to have me be like 3 spots left. There's not. I don't know how many spots are left. I'm just want to figure my workload out. We are setting up the hypertrophy seminar, which I'll probably hit you up to be invited to and to join. It's going to be online, so we'll figure that one out. But it'll be a sold event, a paid event. Sorry, so it'll just be like a Zoom ticket thingy. But we're taking basically one of the micro chunks of the one of the modules of the coaching course, and basically just going to run that through as an individual piece.
Yep.
So that'll be coming out, I think, in the new year. I got to finish off the course. That's coming out. That's pretty much it. I think that's about it at the current point of time.
Beautiful. I like it. I haven't got much going on. So sorting life, get through to Dubai, come back, live life, hopefully. Try not to die. Try not to die up until then.
That's always my plan every day. Try not to die.
Try not to die. Like, and I swear to God, if I get sick again from someone, I will, like I said, I will stab everyone. Nobody.
Fun little philosophical thought process for you. We're all dying. It's just we don't know when.
I do. And 3, 2, no.
I spoke to a fortune teller at the circus one time.
Yeah. And they told me that fucking Pluto was in, was it raspberry lemonade?
Raspberry lemonade.
Uranus is in raspberry lemonade. I like it.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Done. As always, people, if you have topics, questions, please put them in the question box on a Wednesday morning on any of the pages. We've got 3 going for these questions. I believe that is all. As always, goodbye.
Me. See you guys.